Hello everyone, welcome to Module 3. Today we're going to talk about this concept around self-worth, self-esteem, imposter syndrome. These are topics that I have conversations with all of the folks I end up mentoring very often, especially people that are high-performing, highly successful people, believe it or not. They really are challenged with this. Insecure leaders cause sometimes unintended consequences for the entire organization. They have a tendency to blame others. They don't take responsibility for what's happening in the business and ultimately sabotage the success of the company, and the employees themselves don't perform at a high level. One of the reasons why low self-esteem is so important in this context is when you go about your life and start to make decisions, there will be two kinds of people that will show up. There'll be those that critique you and try to hold you back. Part of that is because themselves, they have low self-esteem and they don't want to see you be successful. And then there's the other side of it, which is they want to protect you. They don't want you to take a risk. They want you to be safe, very natural. But what's really, really important is you identify people in your life, I call them the personal trust community people, that'll help elevate you because they won't be judging you, they'll be supporting you on this new journey you're going on. Really important distinction. So we have a lot of fears and trauma from our history that then cause us to self-sabotage opportunities that are in front of us. We don't feel we deserve them. And the key is that you find the right kind of people in your community to help you elevate where you want to go. And that is why we're going to talk about this topic today. And I'm going to give you some questions to ponder on this journey. Before we get into the professional side of self-esteem, I want to explain why we spend time invested in the self-worth on the personal side. When you have strong self-worth in your personal life, it'll show up in your professional side with confidence, clarity, and courage. You've probably noticed by now that I'm not a guru. I want to be a guide. The important thing is you do the work on yourself, about yourself, because then you can take advantage of it because you believe in it. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions about the topic around self-esteem and self-worth. I want you to take your time. And remember very specifically, this is about you, doing the inner work on yourself and your own perspectives. Take your time, pause the video. What are some of my personal strengths? There's no need to write a complete essay in answering these questions. Just think about what comes to mind, 2 or 3 things that resonate with you around this idea around personal self-esteem. What do I appreciate about myself? What do I think people who know me best appreciate about me? I want you to focus on this portion of the exercise on your personal accomplishments. Things that you're really, really proud of. They don't have to be some massive accomplishment. Many times, little things become big things. So just think about anything you're super proud of personally. What are 3 accomplishments I am most proud of? What personal strengths helped me achieve these accomplishments? What strengths and patterns do I see in my accomplishments? How can I leverage these strengths moving forward? Please don't be humble. This is really a chance to really elevate your mind and feel good about yourself, so enjoy it. Put it out there. You'll feel great when this exercise is over. What activities make me feel good about myself? Where and or when do I feel most confident? Who in my personal life supports and encourages me? All right, now I'm going to ask you a very similar set of questions, but about your professional life. There is no question that the investment on the personal side of self-worth will play itself out in the professional side of self-worth, not only as you as a personal leader, but also how your employees engage with you in the business. What are some of my professional strengths? What do I appreciate about myself as a leader? What do I think my colleagues appreciate about me? All right, let's take a minute and write down, this should be a fun exercise. Write down the accomplishments from a business professional standpoint that you're most proud of and excited to share. Often we look at our accomplishments like a scoreboard and we judge ourselves based on the scoreboard. When reality is, it's important for us individually to write down what we see as personal accomplishments in our business side versus what other people are telling us through an award or some document we get. And when you think about these accomplishments, it's okay to say, I drove this sales number or I grew this many customers, that's fine. But I'd like you to really dive into those things that really have driven you personally based on a boss or a client or an employee giving you feedback via a letter, a thank you note, whatever small little things that you have experienced in your career that you can describe as an accomplishment because it made you feel like I'm doing the right things in the right way. What are 3 accomplishments I am most proud of? What professional strengths helped me achieve these accomplishments? What strengths and patterns do I see in my accomplishments? How can I leverage these strengths moving forward? So next, let's take a look at what makes you feel good at work. Which areas of my work do I feel most confident in? What specific tasks do I enjoy the most? And importantly, why? Who in my professional life supports and encourages me? All right, we spent a lot of time on the strength because I want you to feel really good that you've got the energy, you've got the competency to go forward and be successful. I also want to spend some time on this concept around self-doubt, or more of what you might call it as imposter syndrome, because it's real. And instead of spending our time trying to say, well, how do we get rid of it? The real question is, how do we minimize the risk it has on your ability to go where you want to go? So we talked about all your strengths, the excitement you have about yourself and your business. So we're going to try to find ways right now to understand what is it that causes you to have that self-doubt, that imposter syndrome. We're going to dig into that and figure out ways, again, to reduce the risk that it will have on your business and on your life where you're going. There are multiple articles talking about this concept around imposter syndrome and self-doubt as a leader. In fact, a recent one I read said 80% of leaders will deal with imposter syndrome throughout their career as a leader. 80%. Candidly, I would say it's 100%. Here's why. It's typically understood or believed that women are those that deal with imposter syndrome, when in fact, my experiences as a leader, running businesses and working with other business leaders, I think 100% of business leaders deal with some version of imposter syndrome multiple times in their career as a leader. One of the biggest ones is we start micromanaging. We become very fearful that things aren't going to work out, this perfectionism mindset. The second one that I see often is that when there's a big opportunity in front of us, we self-sabotage that because we're so afraid that we don't deserve success. We don't deserve this opportunity in front of us. And the fallout of that is if it's your leadership team giving you these ideas and opportunities that they're excited about, and you do this, all of a sudden they don't believe that you believe in them, and ultimately the business suffers. I want you to spend some time identifying what it is that trips you up. Where are those areas that you find yourself in that self-doubt mindset? And remember, first thought, best thought. Don't overthink it. Now, that being said, if you, because this is about you, remember this is all about you and your inner beliefs and your feelings and where it's coming from. If it works best for you to separate it, please separate them. As you explore the fears and failures and this self-doubt, I want you to keep in mind that this is about you. You're not sharing this with a whole bunch of people, but it's really, really important that you get real. So put down those things that give you that self-doubt. Be intellectually honest with yourself. There's a great quote by Robin Sharma that I love to use with my mentees. And it's usually when they're struggling with this self-doubt and imposter syndrome. And the quote is this: "Your past is not a prison to be chained to, but a school to be learned from." So that's the goal for today. The question to ask yourself is, how have you moved on from these situations in the past? So let's begin. What is the first thing that comes to mind when I think of self-doubt? Describe a scene or a memory in a few words here. What situation or situations trigger my feelings of self-doubt? Where do I most often experience the strongest feelings of self-doubt? It can be a location you visit often or a place you avoid actively. We all suffer from self-doubt, and we have ways that we deal with it, all unique to ourselves in many cases. So what I'd like you to do is write down both the healthy ways and the non-healthy ways that you deal with this. What are 3 healthy ways you boost your confidence? This might look different for all of you. One example could be you find an old email that you got great feedback on that makes you feel really good about yourself. Could be affirmations that you work on. Could be a phone call to a very good friend that helps you laugh and feel better. What are 3 unhealthy behaviors you revert to when you feel insecure? Some of the most common unhealthy behaviors that I observe are, instead of having 1 glass of wine, it ends up being 2, 3, 4. It could be lashing out at employees at work on a more ongoing basis. It could be negative self-talk, people swearing at themselves, calling themselves bad names. Very common. That happens a lot. All right, everyone, stay with me. It's the last round of questions. We're right here. Let's begin. Next, I want you to choose a particular scene or scenario in your life that we will analyze together. What is a moment that I was overtaken by self-doubt, but then conquered? What was the most important tool or strategy that helped me move forward in that particular situation? What was the most important lesson I learned from that experience? And why was it the most important? Who in my life helped me through that tough moment? All right, we have reached the end of Module 3. By getting here, it tells me that you are truly, truly committed to your North Star. So give yourself some space and grace for getting this far. Next up, we're going to move to the personal trust community, which is my favorite part of the exercise. It's finding those people that hold you accountable, that support you and cheer you along to your North Star. See you in the next segment.